This is a market assessment for, happens to be for a sale. We use the same tool for purchases as well. Even when we're starting to get interested in a property for a buyer, we'll run this same type of analysis exactly for the property that's for sale. On the listing side of things, when we're selling a property, we use this as a very data-driven starting place to establish the value. Okay, so let me walk through the structure of this. First, we capture the this address is obfuscated, obviously just for privacy reasons. The nature of the house that we're listing for sale. First thing we do is capture the market data from purchase, which in this case happens to be 2018, through to the latest month of full data that we have available, which in this case was December of 2024. And then we map the month-over-month changes in the market from purchase all the way through. So in this case, 2018 and November of 2022 is a 49% increase, and then it dropped 2.63%. Month-over-month changes all the way down to December of 2024. The net delta in this case between September of 2018 and December of 2024 was a 44.09% increase. Now, we've got 3 data points that we now map against this market data and what's happened. One data point is, first we start with the subject property. So purchased in 2018 for $566. Next, we're going to move to recently sold, which is one of the most important data points that we have. Third, we're going to look at what's active on the market right now. And then we bring that data together to form the market value assessment. Okay, so looking at the subject property, again, purchased in 2018 for $566. With the 49% jump that we have right here, puts it at 846, sorry. And then month over month changes mapped as we go down to suggest a purchase price, or a sale price, sorry, today of $815. Then we move into recently sold comps. This math is important and it's good, but we weight it a little bit less significantly just because we don't know, sometimes a specific product on the market will behave different than the general market. We don't know if they underpaid or overpaid when they purchased in 2018. So this is a great data point, but not the most significant. The most significant is recently sold. This, as long as we can find good comps, then this is the best data point that we have, because it speaks to what the market is actually willing to pay and has in the last 60, 90 days. And then we adjust it based on market changes since it sold in the last 60 or 90 days. So the first recently sold at 22 Orchard, this happens to be in Port Perry. There's not a high volume of transactions that happens in Port Perry, but we have reasonably good data here. So 22 Orchard, it's a 3-2, 4-level split. Again, we analyze the data. Even raised bungalows behave very, very differently than 4-level splits. 4-level side and back splits get a premium of probably about 20% on the market relative to bungalows. So we pulled specifically splits in each one of these cases. Similar size lot, somewhat dated. Purchase price, this one happened to sell in December of 2024 for $750. It's a little more dated than the subject property, and so this will get factored in here in a second. 62 Orchard, same 3-level split in this case, still goes for that 20% premium. Similar size lot. This one sold in October for $849 with market adjustments. That puts it at a December value of $818. And then we have McDonald Street, again 4-level split, a little bit bigger though, with some custom builds in it. So sold for $879, and December's price, that's $847, given the 12% drop in October, flat in November, 3% drop in December, $847. And again, I mentioned this is in Port Perry. There's not a ton of volume of transaction that happens here. So this was active on the market. It was subsequently terminated, and it was on the market for $769 now. And that was in December of 2024. So here's what we do with that data. In the subject property, again, a value today of $815. We weight that at 20% of the overall recommended value. The average comps, we add up the 3 of these, we divide them by 3, they average to 805. We put in a weighting of 50% on the recently sold, the most of the 3 data points. 769, in this case, this is active on the market. This is good for 2 reasons. Active on the market is really important. One, because it's what everybody's buying is going to be saying, I could get this property or I could get that one or this one. And here's the pros and cons of the three of those. So knowing your competition on the market and what they happen to price it for is very, very important when it comes on the buying side. Also the selling. Now, where it's not as relevant is because anybody can list anything for anything they want. Now, we generally see that things are listed reasonably close to what they should be going for. However, there's a wild card here. So we weight that at 30%, and then we calculate the weighted average of those three data points based on the weighting that we assign to them. And in this case, we get a value of 796K. Now, this is really important. If we're on the buy side and that's what we establish, well, now we know, based on some really strong data-driven approaches, that the market assessed value of this is 796. Sorry. Now, what we can do is say, well, this one had premium finishes, or this one was more dated, and so we can adjust based on this. But this gives us a very strong starting place if we're on the buy side to say, are they priced reasonably? And then we assess multiple variables. We assess the sellers and their sentiment. We assess the activity, the number of showings. We assess how many offers they're getting, if they're holding, how many offers they have had, why did they fall through if they haven't closed already. We assess a number of different things. How many times have they been listed in the last year? Have they been trying for a while? All of these things, the backstory on the property, all of these things are factored in on the buy side. On the sell side, now we can strategize based on, excuse me, in this market, it's especially important to know the market value. There are two strategies that generally work in this market. It's beyond the scope of this particular walkthrough, but it's very, very important to, when you know there's two strategies that generally work pretty well in this market, it's really important to start each one of those strategies knowing the market value of the property. That's why this data-driven approach is so important.